Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field for our second of two semifinal matchups on this Saturday afternoon. Postseason baseball on the Corn Belt League Network, and we've got the number 3 Haymakers going up against the number 2 Black Sox. Tyler Reidy alongside Jaden Taylor. And Jaden, we just watched the craziest game imaginable with the Filth Ballers winning in 11 innings, 15-14 to advance to the championship game. So, hey, let's do this one.
I need a nap. Man.
I don't blame you.
My blood pressure at 18 years old shouldn't be saying this, but it is through the roof right now after prepping for this in a game like that, which was just insane. And we have another here tonight at Seymour Smith Park. But again, hey, could be another fun night. Two really good teams. I think this is honestly, outside of maybe last game, I didn't quite think last game was as evenly matched as it looked. I think this one is even closer, especially with the two starting pitchers we're going to see here today.
So let's get right into it, starting with the bracket. And there you go. Filth Ballers 15, Bombers 14, and Filth Ballers take that championship spot in the top 7 p.m. tomorrow on NCN. And the Haymakers and Black Sox playing for the right to meet them on Sunday. So let's get into the Black Sox and their regular season report. A 17-10 record placed them second behind the Filth Ballers at the conclusion of the regular season, and this team can hit, and just like the Bombers, who we saw with the number 4 seed going up against the Filth Ballers, it's simply a matter of whether or not they can get it done against some of these top teams in the league.
Yeah, again, it's kind of been a back-and-forth type of year. They've done really well. In some spurts, they've done really bad. In other spurts, they've had wins that they should have. They have losses that they shouldn't have. Again, the wins up against teams below 500 have been good. It's just against those really good teams where they have really struggled. Just can't find the consistency up against the top dogs in the Corn Belt League this season.
And you look at what they did yesterday. Black Sox beating the Crop Dusters 5-3 in a game that was very close, back and forth. Crop Dusters got off to the 2-0 lead, immediately answered to tie it at 2, and then Black Sox scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th inning as the Crop Dusters just had a disastrous 6th inning with Braxton Wilhelm on the mound, and that's what leads them here. 5 1/3 innings from Eli Sternkovich, a strong performance on the mound. And the Black Sox up against the Haymakers. You look at their regular season report, and they come in at 16-10, and Jaden, you see it right there up top. This team can be very streaky, and they're hoping that they can get hot at the right time tonight.
Yeah, I think they are hot right now. Again, we talk about very hot at some points, very cold at some points after a 4-game losing streak, back on now a 6-game winning streak. And I talked about it at the end of the regular season. This is the hottest team in the league. In my opinion, it's been my take for the last 3 or 4 weeks. This could be the team to be able to put some money on against the Filth Ballers. They have the pitching depth. They have the hitting depth as well, just whether they can come up in these big moments here today.
So we just saw in the first semifinal the offensive game to end all offensive games, and yesterday with the Haymakers, it was the pitching duel to end all pitching duels. Cole Warner going 7 innings, throwing just 81 pitches for the complete game shutout in a game that only lasted an hour and 20 minutes, Jaden.
That was half. It was about half of what we saw here today. 2 beautiful pitching matchups. And again, today was really fun, and I think it was an incredible game. As a pitcher myself, yesterday's game between the Royal Blue Dogs and the Haymakers was the most satisfying in my mind. There was really one mistake pitched the entire day. That was that Zach Tanabe triple, which was driven over the left fielder down the left field line, and that was really it. After that, both pitchers were essentially immaculate, but one guy had to get a loss. It's really odd to say that you go 6-inning pitch, 1 earned run, and somehow you get slated with a loss.
So how do these two teams stack up? Well, here you go. Haymakers at 16-10, Black Sox just a half game ahead at 17-10. But Jaden, this is something that you have been keyed in on all season long. When you look for that team that might be able to take down the Filth Ballers or at least be better than them for one game, you center it around the Haymakers and their elite pitching staff.
Yeah, again, 3-headed monster is what I've been calling this Haymakers pitching staff, as well as on the other end for the Filth Ballers, Aiden Erbaum, Caden Van Hill you're going to see here today, as well as Cole Warner, who you saw yesterday. Again, 3 big guys that have been very good. But talking about outside of that, right? Who can step up in those big moments outside of those 3? We've seen some issues with some other teams. Outside of that, they have some pretty good guys as well as Jack Swelch and Connor Burris. You can see out of the bullpen here today or possibly tomorrow if they get there.
So let's dig into our impact players here. First for the Haymakers, it's Jackson Doty, .351 batting average, had a productive game with a couple hits in yesterday's victory, and he comes in with 11 runs batted in, and OPS just a bit south of 1,000, but he's right in the middle of that lineup again, batting 5th, and a bat that the Haymakers could really use to bolster that pitching staff.
And the top 4 are going to be the impact offense, really, for the Haymakers. Outside of that, it's been some question marks, but Doty, Villanueva, Swanson have been the 3 guys at the top of the order that have been very consistent.
We'll finish out the pregame in just a moment. For now, the Star Spangled Banner. We'll be right back. let the dogs out. Hey, that's right. It's time for our mandatory dog shot of the night. A couple guys hanging out in prime territory. Oh, wow, there's another one. We got 3 of them here hanging out back behind the dugout. It's a great shot there from the first base line. Beautiful day for the doggos and beautiful day for some baseball. We're all hoping here that this game isn't all bark but no bite. Black Sox and Haymakers getting ready to go. I apologize in advance. I'll be here all night. But, Jaden, we continue.
We're a little loopy.
Yeah,
we're a little loopy.
After that last game, we sure are. But we continue on with our pregame, and the man on the mound for the Black Sox, right-hander Aaron Madden, gets the baseball. 36 innings on the year, an ERA just north of 3, but Black Sox looking to put together a big performance from him to counter Caden Van Hill.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing to see is that bottom line. 4 appearances, all 4 times the Black Sox have taken on the Haymakers. Aaron Madden has been the one on the mound, been very consistent, just 4 earned runs in those 20 innings, pitched 14 hits compared to 19 strikeouts. Talking to him before this game, biggest emphasis for him is consistently finding the bottom half of the zone. He's really going to rely a lot on his curveball here today. That's another piece of emphasis. He wants to be able to find his curveball very consistently and find it on the lower outer half. So you really look out for that curveball mix.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is game time. The second spot in the championship game to be decided. As the first pitch from Aaron Madden is low, ball 1 to David Swanson, the right fielder. Swanson, our impact player for yesterday's game, a man who can get on base in bunches, the top of that order. So many good leadoff hitters in this Corn Belt League. As that's off the plate, 2 balls, no strikes.
Madden, a guy that's actually kind of struggled as of recent, had his lone relief appearance of the year up against the Filth Ballers back on July 19th. Gave up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, and talking to Coach Sonnegold, it was a kind of a misplaced situation. They knew they needed a guy in that spot, but wasn't the right guy they should have went to. I felt Madden could have been the best guy in the situation, but he admitted Madden's not a reliever. He's not used to those type of positions where he has to go in very quickly. The kind of prep for Madden is pretty strict and likes himself set up as a starter rather than a reliever. And then right after that, kind of struggled a little bit up against the Rail Riders too. And talking to both him as well as Coach Sonnegold, 2 days after that Rail Riders outing where he gave up 9 hits, 4 earned runs, hit by a pitch and a walk compared to just 1 strikeout, they went out and threw a bullpen, changed a couple of things mechanically, and they're hoping that I can switch out some things here today.
David Swanson flies out to left field, and now 1 out for second baseman Trenton Brem. Haymakers and Black Sox, they've met 4 times this season, and it's been a clean sweep for the Sox. 5-2 victory on June 12th, 4-0 on June 17th. As there's a drive, right center field. Hit pretty well toward the gap, but a backpedaling, tumbling catch is made by Spencer Crane. That was an adventure out there, but he hangs on for out number 2.
We need another odd play out there and right today. We've seen so many in that first game, and then Crane just I think maybe overcommitted a little bit to that one. Didn't realize it was carrying as much as he did, but the guy at 6'6", 6'7" out there, the long stretch, able to make that play. And Madden, again, working some weak contact, able to allow his defense to make some plays. Again, both him and Van Hill just really want to be able to fill up the zone. They've been able to do that all season long. 57.1 first pitch strike percentage this season. But the thing is with him, when he can get that first pitch strike percentage, a 75% likelihood that he's going to get an out on that AB.
1-0 pitch is popped up. Madden got to get out of the way, and finally he does, but it drops foul. Boy, that was awkward. Madden ended up running toward the ball, but cut off both the first baseman Young and the catcher DeMayo, and second life, so to speak, for Dane Small here.
I think right as Madden went over to get that ball, he realized, oh, this is not a place I should be. I think majority of coaches know that they never want their pitchers to make that play. Allow the defense that has a better ability to range to that ball make that play. The good thing, at least, it wasn't off any gloves. Could have maybe been a free base for Dane Small.
1-1 pitch. That's upstairs. 2-1 the count. Getting back to the regular season meetings on July 10th. Black Sox blew out the Haymakers 10-4, and then a 6-1 win to complete the sweep on July 15th. And here they are again 2 weeks later in the semis. And that's a rip to left field. That's going to get down for a hit. 2-out single for Small, so he does take advantage of the misplay down the first base line, and he's aboard with 2 outs.
Again, this top 5 of the order is going to be a real big piece to look at. Small's had some pop, but he's kind of been hitting a little bit more for average as of recent. And I think the question is going to be that bottom third, Borkman, Calhoun, and Yorgis. How can they get production out of them to drive in these type of runs that you can get guys on top 4, top 5? How can the lower end get them through?
Small team leader with 8 stolen bases over there at first, but they'll have to run on contact as that is dropped into center field, a base hit. Jackson Trout goes after the first pitch and singles to center.
I mentioned it yesterday, and Trout's just a guy that, again, finds the barrel really often. I think his hands are, I think, the biggest piece from, again, a really long, lengthy guy, right? So sometimes it's hard to get that full motion through the zone, but Trout's really worked these past couple of years on making sure he gets quick hands throughout the zone. That's what he's been able to do there, and really good job just flaring that one to center. Now a bit of a 2-out threat here for the Haymakers.
Jackson Doty, our impact player, hitting from the left side here as the extra hitter, takes one upstairs, ball 1. Doty a .359 batting average coming in. Tied for the team lead with 6 2-out RBI, went 1 for 2 with a walk and a stolen base against the Royal Blue Dogs. One of the few offensive players to have success in that pitching extravaganza. 1-0 from Madden. Is hit in the air, right field. Crane going back toward the gap. Does he have a play? He does not. It's down for a hit and all the way to the wall. This will score 2, and Doty wants 3. He's got a 2-run triple for a 2-0 lead in the first.
Back-to-back outs, but Madden living a little bit dangerously, really leaving a couple of those fastballs over the heart of the plate. Beautiful job right there by our impact player and Doty. Find the ball through the zone and a beautifully driven ball out into right center field. And you add on the speed, right, with that one getting that far down out there. Some guys might leg up and steal that one at a double, but with Doty's speed, they'll bring all the way around to third. And now another possible piece of offense here if they can drive him in here with 2 outs.
And a shot back to short. What a pickup there by Blinn for the out. Excellent defense by Clayton Blinn for the 3rd out, and he gets Ryan Golden. We move on to the bottom of the first. It's 2-0 Haymakers right off the bat here at JJ Isaacson Field. Bottom of the first inning. Black Sox getting ready to bat, already trailing 2-0, and they've got a tall task ahead of them. Caden Van Hill takes the mound tonight for the Haymakers. And Jaden, a fellow West Side friend of yours, what do you have on him going into tonight's matchup?
Biggest thing from him, he wants to fill up the zone early and often. You see there, 56.5 first pitch strike percentage is good, just not quite the level that Van Hill has been wanting. You see the 3.11 ERA, both pitchers here with a 3.11 ERA. Kind of a similar look between Van Hill as well as Madden. He's going to work a 4-pitch mix, mainly a 3-pitch mix. He'll move in a changeup here or there, but the fastball, curve, and slider, the biggest pieces for him. Fastball is going to be at 84, 85. I think the curveball is his best put-away pitch. The slider is going to have some cut action to it a little bit. I think he'll really work that well to righties. We'll see how much you use the slider to lefties. Sometimes it'll break in and hang up a little bit, sometimes to lefties.
in there for a strike, 1-1 on Peyton Blinn, who saved a third run from scoring in the first inning. Haymakers got 2 on the triple by Jackson Doty. Caden Van Hill making his 6th start of the season, as he gets a wave and a miss going up and away, 1-2. Van Hill last appeared against the Bombers on July 18th in the start when he went 7 innings, allowing just 3 runs, 2 of them earned, and striking out 9 for a 110-pitch complete game.
And talking to Coach Young and the assistant coaches here for the Haymakers about Van Hill, the biggest thing for him is he's been the guy that should have been able to do. They talk about just being able to establish his zone allows so many more opportunities, especially when the arsenal like that, when you can go back to the off-speed and you're heading the count the majority of the time.
Strike 3 looking, and Blinn goes back to the dugout. Now that brings up Darius Hagan, our impact player of the game for the Black Sox. You see some of the numbers on him, batting average north of 350, and he's had some success against the Haymakers this year, going 3 for 11 with a couple runs batted in.
Yeah, really seen him out of the 1 and 2 spot. And the odd thing for him, he's been mainly a pitcher at Northeast Community College. Haven't seen him pitching too much here in the Corn Belt League. However, his hitting ability has been a really big piece as well, coming out of Omaha North High School.
Delayed call. It's a hit by pitch. We saw many controversial hit by pitch calls or non-calls in that first semifinal, but this one is definitive, and Hagan's at first base with 1 out.
I don't know if I can do another one of those.
Yeah, we had several minute-long delays in the late innings of that Filth Baller versus Bomber semifinal that went 3.5 hours, 11 innings, 15-14 was the final score in that one, with the Filth Ballers taking their place in the championship game. It's 1-0 on the first baseman, Caden Young. Hagan has great speed as an outfielder over there at first base, but only a couple stolen bases on the year. That one way outside, 2-0. Van Hill's an interesting pitcher. We talked about the success he's had this year and the strong ERA just north of 3, but his strike percentage isn't very high, and he doesn't have a ton of quick innings, but he still just finds a way to eat up innings and keep things very low in the earned runs department.
Now, if we do see Brandon Krebs here today, I was kind of going to say the same thing about him. Both him as well as Van Hill do a really good job of just minimizing innings, right? A lot of times they'll get into some dangerous situations. They figured the way out of it a lot of different times, and now opportunity here for the Black Sox with just 1 out and a runner in scoring position.
Stolen base number 3 on the year for Hagan, and Caden Young has an opportunity ahead 3-0 in the count. Spencer Crane on deck, and it's going to be Spencer Crane coming into the box after a 4-pitch walk. So the tying run gets on. Haymakers in danger of throwing away their 2-0 lead.
Just the 15th walk of the season for Caden Van Hill, but you mentioned sometimes he's kind of opened up a little bit. You see him really missing more arm side than glove side, right? So a lot of times that's what's happening. Sometimes either a mix between you're opening up a little bit too early and you're not able to finish all the way through. Biggest thing for him right now, I think that glove side's got to really pull through to get his backside all the way through the zone.
And there's another hit by pitch. Van Hill misses well inside to a right-hand batter, and this time it's Crane taking first base the hard way, and they're loaded up with 1 out for Rusty Wortman. What is going on here?
Yeah, Van Hill needs the time to kind of calm himself down a little bit. And all the times he's missed inside, so that's got to be the approach here, right? This game is so much about adjustment. Sometimes for a pitcher like this in Van Hill, you have to make an adjustment pretty dang quickly to get yourself reset and find a way to keep this 2-0 lead as it's kind of getting dangerous here.
Now batting, the designated hitter.
Base is loaded, 1 out, and Rusty Wortman moving over from catcher to DH with Sid DeMeo behind the plate today. Wortman bats 5th. Swinging strike 1 to Wortman. And now 1 ball and 1 strike.
We'll see what the middle of this order can do. We talked about a couple of the guys that have an OPS above 1,000. It's really been the 3 guys between Young, Crane, and Wortman in the middle of the order.
Fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hagan at 3rd, Young at 2nd, and Crane at 1st. Neither of those 3 had to swing the bat. Hagan was hit by a pitch. Young walked on 4 pitches, and Crane a hit by pitch as well, but 1 and 2 now on Wortman. And Hill again misses outside. He has been a frequent inhabitant of the right-hand batter's box, and it's 2-2.
You see him setting up now a lot more near his foot on the rubber, really near towards the first base side, trying to adjust himself here.
Gets Wortman to roll over, but it's a foul ball. Nice play by the first base coach over there. Still 2-2. Not a cloud in sight here in Omaha. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s. That wind still blowing out to left field. We saw it drive a home run out of here in the first game. Nico Saul, a third inning solo shot to left field. It was opposite field. As again, this one is pulled to first. This time it's fair. Wortman didn't realize it, and he'll be out, but a run does come in to score.
Yeah, Wortman was trying to say it went off of his foot. Honestly, I'd be all right with the first out coming and bringing a run, but I know a competitor like Wortman would rather go back out to the plate and try to drive in a couple more. He was pretty upset. He thought that one hit right off of his foot. It was kind of an odd play. Wherever it hit the dirt if it did, kind of oddly, a little bit odd bounce down the first base line. But either way, the Black Sox get one back. And we're back in for a possible another barn burner after the first one we saw here today.
We saw 4 runs scored in the first inning of the previous semifinal, and all 4 of them scored by the Bombers. Little did we know that after that 4-run first inning, 25 more runs would be scored in that game. 1 ball, 1 strike on the second baseman, Dustin Sipe. Second and third, 2 down here.
I recommend those that once you're done watching this game to go back and watch that one. If you haven't already, an incredible game back and forth.
Incredible, to put it lightly. 1 ball, 1 strike here. As that's on the ground to short. Tanabe gets behind it and throws to first perfectly for the out. But the Black Sox counter with 1, and the Haymakers lead cut in half, 2-1, as we head to the top of the second inning on the Corn Belt League Network. Well, Jaden, you recommended that the fans go back and watch the first semifinal, and that's exactly what they're doing here at JJ Isaacson Field. This guy's checking out the 4-run first inning from the Bombers. These guys just finished with the 7th inning. They're taking a break before they go to extras. And now finally, back to this guy, still enjoying that first. As we move on to the second, 2-1 lead in this one, the second semifinal, with the Haymakers leading the Black Sox, and again, off to a fast and furious start offensively. Bit of a shorter inning on both sides, pitch count-wise, but 3 combined runs and a 2-1 lead for the Haymakers.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit 2 different stories, right? The offense was more there for one team in the Haymakers in that first inning, kind of piecing up Madden a little bit on the other end. Caden Van Hill just couldn't quite find the zone. 2 hit-by pitches and a walk. Really struggling first inning for him. Talking to Coach Young, the guys that would be available behind Caden Van Hill, depending upon where they go, Jack Swellich, Connor Burris, and possibly even Aiden Urbach.
That is pounded down the left field line, but it is foul, and it's out of the ballpark over the fence out there. And there's nobody out there to get it right now, but eventually someone will get to that souvenir. It's a 1-1 count on shortstop Zach Tanabe, who had a huge triple to score the only run of the game.
And if you're Aaron Madden, all you can think about that one, that was a loud strike, and that's about it.
1-2 the count on him. It was a 5th inning triple off the left field wall by Tanabe. in yesterday's win over the Royal Blue Dogs, and he came around to score the only run. A 1-0 victory as he pulls one to short. Not an easy play for Blinn, but he is showing off his defensive prowess. Couple fine plays. It was the glove in the first inning and the arm in the second to get the first out.
Yeah, and having to range to his opposite end. Really good job being able to get his footwork back set, setting yourself back around, and a really strong throw over to first. Blinn's been doing an amazing job out there at short. Talk about Tanabe's prowess defensively. Blinn showing off here today.
Now it's Carter Bjorkman, first baseman out of Nebraska Wesleyan University. Designated hitter tonight with Jorgis over at first. As Madden misses high, ball one. Bjorkman did not play in yesterday's win. Went 2 for 4 Sunday against the Rail Riders. Driving in a run and scoring twice. .216 batting average in the regular season, and he lifts this one back foul just off to our right. And bouncing off the concrete into the back fence. 1 ball, 1 strike. Madden gave up 2 singles back-to-back and then a 2-run triple to Jackson Doty in that first inning. Haymakers lead 2-1. As there is a beautiful pitch for strike 2. Doty, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, there's that curveball from Aaron Madden, right? That kind of 12-6 looks like it's going to drop off right out of his ear. And talking to him, that's going to be his biggest emphasis, making sure he can find that curveball consistently for strikes and get guys to miss on it.
Bjorkman behind 1 and 2, and he goes off speed again, but this time it doesn't get down quick enough, and it's 2 and 2 as he misses high with it. Black Sox scored their run in the bottom of the first inning without a single base hit. Couple walks, 1 walk and 2 hit by pitches, and a ground out to bring in the run. As that's hit in the air, right field, shallow right. Crane coming on in a hurry, and he goes down to a knee to make the catch.
And even at the tall stature of 6'6", 6'7", Spencer Crane has some agility out there in right. And usually the type of guy that you see is a power guy, kind of like a Giancarlo Stanton lookalike to an extent. He's been able to get some balls pretty quickly out there. He's really filled his position pretty well out there in right.
Yeah, a swinging strike 1 to Chris Calhoun, the center fielder. Maybe not the most graceful catch in the world, but as we saw in the first semifinal, right field, just got to just make the catch out there. That's all that matters. A couple balls lost in the sun to have a massive impact on that game as it's low. 1 ball, 1 strike on Calhoun. Madden looking for a 1-2-3 inning. That would be quite the bounce back after his troubles in the first.
And again, this bottom of the order has kind of been the struggle so far this season for the Haymakers. All 4 guys have a batting average below 230.
Pulled to third and past Wells down the left field line. Diving try by Manny Wells, and he couldn't come up with it, and this will turn into a double for Chris Calhoun. He just beat the throw from Hagan.
Talk about a big pick-me-up right there from Chris Calhoun. Beautiful drive, just barely got past the glove of the third baseman and Manny Wells, and one where you can't really play too much further down the left field line, beautifully painted into the corner, and just enough. It kind of stopped a little bit. It was not hard hit enough to be able to get to Hagan pretty quickly, so kind of died in the grass a little bit. Long run for Hagan, and there you go, a double.
First pitch in for a strike to Trevor Jorgis, the first baseman. Batting 10th. Haymakers going with the 10-man batting order. We've seen pretty much 50-50 between whether teams in the postseason have gone with 10 or 9. Black Sox are using 9 on the other end.
The Haymakers went 9 yesterday, but go 10 here today.
Popped up, but that is spinning backwards and out of play. Ooh, watch out. That was close. Almost hit a fan just standing there by the bleachers, but thankfully she got out of the way just in time, and it's 0-2.
I think Madden again, you've seen that loopy curveball. Might go back to it here again. Try to find it back door up against here in Jorgis.
0-2, 2 outs. Calhoun, the runner at second, he doubled. Madden ready with the 0-2. And dancing around out there, Calhoun, but it's not going to matter. Swing and a miss. Fist pump from Madden. as he strikes out Yorgis and works a scoreless second inning. It's 2-1 Haymakers going to the bottom of the second on the Corn Belt League Network. Bottom of the second, Haymakers 2, Black Sox 1, and Corn Belt League Postseason Semifinals. Winner moves on to face the Field Ballers in tomorrow night's championship game. Tyler Reidy and Jaden Taylor bringing you a long Saturday afternoon and now evening of baseball as there's strike one from Caden Van Hill to Steven Larkins.
Yeah, no, we kind of thought we'd probably get out of here about 7:38, depending on how the two games went, but that 11-inning thriller, hey, you never know. Maybe this game can be even crazier.
Off to a hot start offensively, 0-2 now on Steven Larkins. Haymakers put up 2 in the first. Black Sox with 1 in the bottom half. 4 hits already for the Haymakers. Black Sox haven't needed one to score yet, as that is just inside. Van Hill's really been living on the edge, pitching inside to those right-hand hitters. He's already hit a couple, as it's now 1-2 on Larkins.
Yeah, I think if you're Van Hill right now, you really got to emphasize fully going all the way out. You really got to get out in front here. I think his kind of release point's kind of a little bit later, but there you go. That's kind of the adjustment you need to have if you're Van Hill. If you're struggling first, find yourself again in a really spotted fastball right there.
Yeah, it just looked like a really smooth delivery that time. Came right down the center plane and blows it right past Steven Larkins on the fastball for strikeout number 2, and now the catcher, Sid DeMayo. 7, 8, 9 hitters here for the Black Sox. DeMayo back in the lineup today after being used as a pinch runner yesterday.
And the biggest thing for DeMayo, again, he's been able to put balls in play pretty well and able to get on when he does it, a 4.48 average with balls in play. But talking to Aaron Madden, he really likes him more for his defensive style. Madden and DeMayo really have some kind of connection between the two of them. And I think that's a really lost art to a lot of different guys. It's something that a lot of players and a lot of fans don't quite realize how much of a connection a pitcher-catcher relationship can be. One thing that I really think of at the pro level, Clayton Kershaw and A.J. Ellis back in like 2016, 2017 for the Dodgers. Ellis played once every 5 days, and it was when Clayton Kershaw pitched. So, again, DeMayo's not quite the same style. He definitely does have the hitting to back himself, but again, that relationship can be so important, right? A pitcher cannot always do it on his own. The catcher behind home plate, and sometimes they have even more decision-making than the pitcher himself.
And that's hit in the air, left field. Wind will help it all the way back, and it's down off the fence. Small couldn't get there. He lost his hat in the process, and that is a double for Sid DeMayo with 1 out in the second inning.
He has the ability to pull the ball down the left field line. Man, already 2 doubles up against the Black Sox, or against the Haymakers, make it 3. Man, he is just raked up against these Haymakers this season.
7 for 8 now against the Haymakers. Absolute annihilation for DeMayo against this ball club. And now third baseman Manny Wells in the bottom of that Black Sox order. Third baseman. We saw the 9-hitter making some serious noise on Thursday in the Black Sox win, except it wasn't Wells. It was different Manny. Manny Fregoso with a couple bunt hits and a couple runs, and now it's going to be an infield hit for Manny Wells, as that was a tough play for Tanabe, who's so good at short, but had to rush that ball from glove to hand and couldn't make the play.
Had a good beat on that ball, but kind of bounced around a little bit. Ended up having to backhand that one and couldn't quite get the ball out of his glove. So now just 1 out. Still a double play in order to think about here, but really fast Blinn as well as a really fast Manny Wells over there at first. If you're Van Hell here, gonna maybe have to stretch the ladder once again, try to go get Blinn to chase a couple more times.
Big secondary lead from Wells at first as Van Hill's first pitch to Blinn is in for a strike. Blinn struck out looking in the first. Oh, 1 pitch. Line, left field, that could get down, and it is caught by Small. Nice reaching catch, but that'll bring in a run, and the game is tied up at 2. Punch, counter punch continues in these semifinals. Sac fly for Peyton Blinn.
And quality at bats, being able to bring guys in, are going to what is going to be most important games like this. Talking to Coach Sunderland, that's what they really need to do. Simplify things, make the fundamental plays defensively, and play their game like they played all season long for the Black Sox. Arguably, I'd say probably the second or third best offense in this league this year. They just want to do what they do. That's kind of a reoccurring theme that I've heard here in the postseason. After a long regular season, 2 months of baseball here in Omaha, Nebraska, they just want to keep doing what they've been doing all year long.
0-1 the count on Darius Hagan. He scored the first Black Sox run in the first inning as he was hit by a pitch. Also stole second. But he falls behind 0-2. This game might end up being about, at least pitching-wise, who can limit the damage more, with Van Hill and Madden both clearly struggling early. That's lifted into center field off the bat of Hagan. Wells was running on the pitch, but he'll have to run back to the dugout as it's caught out there by Calhoun. The Black Sox have tied it at 2 with a run in the first and a run in the second, and we head to the third. Postseason baseball on the Corn Belt League Network. Back here at JJ Isaacson Field, top of the third inning. We're tied at 2 between the Black Sox and Haymakers in the 2-3 semifinal. And both pitchers, Aaron Madden and Caden Van Hill, have allowed 2 runs through their first 2 innings, but both have kept their pitch count at 33 pitches or below. Van Hill at 32 and Madden, the man you see now, at 33.
And both these guys, you mentioned this passing, I think you're really on the button there. How can both of these pitchers figure a way to minimize some of these big innings?
And there's a pop out into foul territory. Some frustration shown by leadoff hitter David Swanson as he pops out to Sid DeMayo, who makes a nice catch. And again, you could see the spin on that baseball, bringing it back toward fair territory. Saw last night a couple leaning, diving, falling catches made in foul territory, specifically on that first base side. But DeMayo made that look very easy.
Yeah, saw Caden Young one time, saw Nico Stahl like 2 or 3 times down in foul territory. And those are some really hard plays to make. Again, a lot of times, as a guy that doesn't play baseball, a lot of times it can be easy to see, oh, it's an easy pop, you should be able to make that play. That's something that's going to be really disorienting, right? When you get underneath that ball, it seems like it's shaking above you. So it's a really good ability to be able to set yourself well, understand where that ball is coming from. The big thing, too, there, it can always be balanced. Got to make sure you're balancing those kind of plays.
And there's a base hit to left field for Trenton Brem. The top to middle part of the Haymakers order making some noise again. They cashed in for 2 runs in the first inning, and they've got a man on with 1 out here in the third.
They got a part of the order, like you mentioned, that they want to have. Small, Trout, and Doty are Arguably outside of David Swanson, the 3 best hitters on this team these last couple of weeks. Oddly, no Alec Villanueva tonight, at least in the starting lineup. He was, outside of David Swanson, the hottest hitter these past 2 or 3 weeks. The second best vote getter outside of Swanson for hitter of the week this past week to end out the regular season. So, again, the hitting, the pitching has kind of all been coming together here with these past 6 or 7 games or so. And sometimes in games like this and situations like this in the postseason, it's which team's hot and which team's not.
Small goes after the first pitch, but flies out to center field with Larkins making the catch. Brem remains at first base, and now with 2 outs, here's Jackson Trout.
I really like the way Madden's been kind of able to adjust after that rocky first inning. And he hasn't quite been the blow-by type of guy that he's been the majority of this season. He's relying a lot more on some weak contact. Got pieced up a little bit in that first, but has found a way to get more consistent weak contact here in the second and third.
In there for a strike. Jackson Trout, the third baseman, is up. He singled and scored the second run in the first inning. 2 away here in the third. Jackson Doty, the man who drove in the 2 runs in the first, is on deck. 0-1 pitch is hit on the ground, base hit left field, a top spinning grounder, and some aggressive base running from Brem. He's on his way to third, and he's in there, and Trout takes the extra base on the throw, going to second.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was quite really Hagan, a little bit sleeping out there at third, but definitely did not expect for the runner and Trenton Brem to try to go first to third on that type of play. And now not only does it take out a situation to where you have a forced play at first, second, and or third, you also now have 2 runners in scoring position and a chance to take the lead back here for the Haymakers.
And it's Jackson Doty, the extra hitter. He came up with 2 men on base in the first and got them both home on a triple to the right center field gap. That is low ball 1. We saw some tremendous RBI performances in that 15-14 game. Nico Saul of the Bombers with 5. Brendan Anderson with 4 for the Filth Ballers. And Doty has a chance to quickly make it 4 if he can drop something into the outfield.
Real big left center gap right now. Can Doty put it the other way?
Takes again, and it's down. 2 balls, no strikes. Madden trying to make sure he doesn't leave anything elevated out there, but all of a sudden he's falling behind. First base is open, and you have Ryan Golden, the catcher, on deck. Here comes a 2-0 pitch, and he gets jammed a little bit. Sends it back off to the left side, foul ball.
Yeah, Doty, I mentioned the really wide open left center gap right now. He's really been able to put the ball the other way pretty well. Just about 60% towards the opposite field, another about 10-15% up the middle, and just 3 hits, pull side. So a guy that can hit to all fields, see if he can do it here at 2 outs.
And he gets a breaking ball that misses up. 3 balls and a strike. Doty with the 2-run triple in the first now has 7 runs batted in his last 5 games. His 5-game hit streak. And he's in a hitter's count here.
Yeah, if you're Madden here, you mentioned a base open still here for Madden, so cannot give Doty, who can show some pop, anything too much over the heart of the plate.
In the air, left field, slicing. It's going to be a foul ball, but can it be caught? Not quite. It's off the tip of Hagan's glove as he was in a full sprint, and he ends up all the way in the left field corner.
That's going to be a long walk back to left field. He was on a dead sprint, was Darius Hagan. He's got some speed. We mentioned on the base pass a little bit. Hasn't shown it too much this season, the base pass, but really just about 2 inches away from that one getting out of his glove. A little bit more life here for Doty. Good approach so far. Again, you saw that outer fastball. I was trying to nick the outer half for Aaron Madden. Good pitch, but even better fade-away piece right there for Doty.
You got to give Hagan some credit as well. That takes some talent. His hat fell off, and it landed right on the chalk of the left field line. All the places it could have come off, it was right there. But now 3-2 the count on Doty. Madden's pitch is outside, ball 4, an excellent take in a full count. And now the bases are full for Ryan Golden.
after Madden was really the one that kind of gave up a little too many pieces over the middle of the plate, kind of struggling to find the zone here. Kind of battling too many long counts, and he's been mainly a pretty efficient guy this season, but struggling here so far. But again, it really can be all wiped away if you can finally get this third out of the inning, get yourself at the bottom of the third, still at a tie ball game.
Golden goes first pitch hacking, pops it up right back in front of us, and it is a foul ball. And a fan gets, oh, he dropped it. Come on. That was right in his hands on the bounce, sitting in the second row of the bleachers, and he went for the one-hander and just scored it right out.
Can we get a shame shot? Can we get a shame shot? That's got
Oh,
it's
man.
on a bounce. You got to make that play. You got to make that play.
0-1 now. Madden to Golden. And that is inside, and it got him. Another hit by pitch. Van Hill's been having that issue, and this time Madden forces a run in, and it's 3-2 Haymakers in the third.
And Brandon Krebs is already up and throwing in the bullpen. We'll see how much longer of a leash they want to give to Madden. After being 100% the #1 guy, the ace all season long for Madden, for these Black Sox, has been Madden. Now a third straight appearance where he's given up 3 or more earned runs. And a possibility for the Haymakers to add on even more here with Zach Tanabe.
Aiden Erbaum, speaking of excellent pitchers, he's pinch running over at first base. Zach Tanabe, the shortstop, takes strike one. Brandon Krebs out in the bullpen was the other possible starter for this one. It took the Black Sox a little while to decide between him and Madden or who would get the ball, but they might end up both pitching tonight. See how deep Madden can go. 0-1 pitch is chopped foul, 0-2, and again a one-hand bounce catch attempt over in the Black Sox dugout and a miss. Got some buggerfingers out there today, even from the players.
Can't have that happen.
No, absolutely
You can't
not.
have that happen.
And now the 0-2 pitch. Let's see if Tanabe's ready, and he takes it up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bases loaded. Full of Haymakers with Trout at third, Doty at second, and Erbaum at first. Pinch running for Golden.
And it looks like P.J. Nagy is at least going out to the bullpen as well, maybe to get warmed up. So again, we'll see how much longer of a leash they're going to give to Madden here.
Right field, toward the line, long run for Crane. He's in a dead sprint, and he can't get there as it's a foul ball. Well, the outfielders are getting their calisthenics in. Not usually the case where we see the center fielder just kind of standing there and watching the corner outfielders having to chase things down, but that's exactly what we've got here in the third.
And they must have stretched pretty well after waiting an extra hour and a half, 2 hours before they were originally supposed to start. Mentioned the long runs. And that's what an athletic outfield can do for you. Been able to show it off so far. Haven't been able to quite get some plays, but running a lot. Madden's got to figure a way out of this. Cannot give up another run.
1-2, and that off-speed pitch, Madden has left it up above the zone time and time again.
Again, I'm not sure what it is. We talked about it again when he had the bullpen. He tried to switch it up his mechanics a little bit on that curveball, and it really seems like he's really tried to force coming over the top with that curveball. Have a more 12-6 movement. A lot of times before it was not quite a 12-6. It was kind of more like a 11.5 to like 7-ish. Kind of weird look that he had. Or excuse me, 11.5 to like 4-ish coming out of the right side.
Tanabe fouls another one off, and it remains 2-2. Nice crowd on hand at JJ Isaacson Field. It was packed for the end of the first game. You had all the initial fans that had showed up to watch the Bombers and the Phil Ballers, and then the fans that had arrived for Black Sox Haymakers, and during those extra innings, it was a full house in here. 2-2 pitch, Madden to Tanabe, and again that one's inside, nearly hits him. And the count is full. Base runners will be in motion.
Krebs still just standing out there in the bullpen. Whoever catcher is supposed to be setting him up is taking a while to get him ready. And this is a spot here. If Madden kind of gets pieced up on one of these pitches, a couple balls fall in the outfield, you're going to have to go to Krebs really quickly. He might not even be warm.
3-2. There go the runners, and it's inside. Ball 4. So once again, Madden lets the Haymakers off the hook. A hit by pitch with the bases loaded, and now a bases loaded walk. And it's 4-2 Haymakers in the third.
I just cannot see a way that you keep Madden in here. Still bases loaded, 2 outs. And again, it's one thing you can be decently confident with the guy that's got pieced up a little bit that's one thing, but when you're really struggling to be able to find the zone, even sometimes when you're ahead right there after being ahead 0-2, falls all the way behind and walks him. This is when really the struggles can be showing, especially in a game like this to where your season's coming down to the line. Got to see about who else you can go to.
And they're going to go to Krebs right now. So that is it for Madden. He only goes 2 2/3 innings and allows 4 runs. And now Brandon Krebs, who has been warming up with those 2 dogs over there by the bullpen, we'll see if he's got that dog in him as he heads out to the mound here in the 3rd. Call to the bullpen for the Black Sox. They trail it 4-2, and a disappointing outing for Aaron Madden. One of their best starting pitchers goes only 2 2/3 innings, allows at least 4 runs. He was responsible for all 3 base runners, and it's now Brandon Krebs into the game. And he fires in the dirt, ball 1, blocked by Sid DeMeo as he faces Carter Bjorkman, the DH.
Krebs is a guy that just has had an incredible last couple of weeks, both starting as well as a couple opportunities out of the bullpen. And his only opportunity against these Haymakers was out of the bullpen, just 18 pitches and 1 innings of work, and got 2 strikeouts, but kind of struggled a little bit in some areas.
Well, there's an Olay at shortstop by Blinn. That ball was a rocket, and it gets through to left center field, and 2-run score for the Haymakers as they have opened up a 6-2 lead by putting up 4 in the 3rd. As Borkman drives in 2, we'll see how it's scored, but boy, he got a good piece of that ball.
That's a tough spot to come in there if you're Krebs, and he's been a guy that's really lived across the heart of the plate the majority of this season. A 43% hard hit ball percentage up against Krebs this year, but again, he's just been a guy, like I mentioned earlier, he's lived dangerously, but has found a way to get out of it. And a spot like that, it's hard to be able to work on, especially when you're not even fully warm and coming to a place like this.
That one pulled foul by Chris Calhoun. Haymakers have now brought 9 to the plate. They have runners on the corners with 2 outs here. Calhoun doubled in the 2nd inning.
Please tell me you just saw that play by Hosey.
Where?
That was at least an 80-mile-an-hour ground ball that he just scooped up barehanded.
Right there, the third base coach. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I'm seeing the replay. I was looking down at my scorebook to see what Calhoun did first time up. Yeah, I saw the replay. Heck of a job by Hosey, a former major leaguer himself. Back in the 90s as the 1-1 pitch is ripped. He's got no play on that as it's over his head and sailing to the corner for a foul ball.
Again, that's sometimes the little piece of kryptonite for Brandon Krebs. He finds the zone pretty often, but sometimes gets behind, and that fastball when it's left over the middle of the plate can be driven. I mentioned the almost 45% hard hit ball percentage. 33% of the time he's been giving up a line drive. So again, when you're able to find the barrel, he's going to pound the zone a lot, but The problem is, again, that when he pounds that zone, it can be a little bit dangerous to work with up against some really good hitters.
2-2 pitch. That is in for something. The whole plate umpire, rather than making a call, went out to talk to Calhoun, and yeah, I think you're right. So that means they have to send the base runner back to first as well.
I think they're saying Calhoun called time.
Yep, he sure did, and Krebs is just shaking his head out there. That's one of the most aggravating things for a pitcher when either you've already started your windup or you've just completed your delivery and home plate umpire grants the batter time. Krebs is going to get right back up there. And now the 2-2 pitch is hit into left field. It is sinking, but it is caught. Hagan didn't have to move, but the Haymakers make a move on the scoreboard. Their lead is 6-2 as they score 4 runs in the top of the third. See if the Black Sox can mount a comeback coming up next on the Corn Belt League Network. Bottom of the third inning, Haymakers 6, Black Sox 2, as we've made a complete 180 between yesterday's quarterfinals and today's semifinals. It was pitch Tyler Reidy and Jaden Taylor with you as Caden Young takes ball 1 from Caden Van Hill.
I think if you're Van Hill, right, you're finally getting yourself truly
on base for the second time, a walk and a single, and the leadoff man is on as the Black Sox look to make some inroads on this deficit.
That's the part of the order. I've struck the ball really well to the outfield. If you want to mount a comeback, again, a lot of ball game left here, but still some time to possibly chip in.
For the Sox, only lasted 2 2/3 innings. He gave up 6 hits, 2 Black Sox hitters to get hit by Van Hill in that first inning. And that's on the ground. Potential double play ball. Tanabe boots it for him.
Get himself a little bit, but you still got to give him credit, right? Again, sometimes kind of a hard play, didn't quite time it up very well, booted out his glove, but still a good job to understand. Don't quite make one error into 2, right? Of a runner out there and Crane at first.
So he's on for the DH, Rusty Wortman, who takes one outside, ball 1. 6 runs on 7 hits for the Haymakers, 2 runs on 3 hits for the Black Sox, and no errors on either side. 1-0 to Wortman is low and through the legs of the catcher Golden, but Crane did not pick it up in time. 2-0.
I think, again, with Van Hill here, try to work back that fastball. Keep it on the outer half, which he's been doing almost all day long, but try to work back and try to attack here.
That is just off the plate. 3 balls and no strikes. Van Hill went off speed on 2-0. And now he falls behind to Wortman, who drove in the first run for the Black Sox with a ground out to first base. The base is loaded in the first. 3-0 pitch is in there on the bottom part of the zone.
And going forward, Van Hill really needs to find a way to get ahead early in counts. So the struggling outings that Van Hill has this season, the main theme with him is that he's gotten behind early and then gotten pieced up later on in AB. He's the 53% first pitch strike percentage or lower. All of his 3 outings that he's given up 3 earned runs or more.
That one fouled away, 3-2, so Crane at first base. Big pitch coming here to Wortman. Van Hill would love nothing more than a shutdown inning after giving up a run in each of the first two, and then his offense giving him 4 as this is lifted high in the air right toward the fence. A tough play, but a catch in foul territory for Jackson Trout. Ended up having to go a long way for that ball, almost all the way to the warning track, but he squeezes it for out number 2.
That's what Van Hill needs to keep doing, right? Keep getting weak contact, keep getting guys to miss. That's a big piece, right? When you have that 3 to 4 pitch arsenal, you can keep things moving, keep things working around, cannot allow any hitters to get comfortable. When you can't get guys comfortable, you're a lot more likely to see the ball away from the sweet spot.
Inside ball 1 to Dustin Sipe. He grounded out to Tanabe at short to end the first inning. Now the 1-0 from Van Hill. That is in the dirt. Golden is putting up a heck of an effort behind the plate, keeping these balls at least in front of him or on the dirt circle around home plate. 2-0 the count.
That can be a really underrated piece of being a catcher, right? How far away you can work. Sometimes when your pitcher makes a mistake, kind of bailing them out at times, making sure you keep runners at bay.
And that is low and away. 3 balls, no strikes. Sipe trying to break an 0 for 9 now in his last 4+ games. His bat going cold at the wrong time. Well, he's in a good position here, ahead 3-0 on Van Hill. And he takes it inside for ball 4. So that will put 2 on with 2 out. And again, Van Hill lets the Black Sox off the hook. He's already hit a couple batters, and that is his second walk.
30, Stephen Larkin.
Center fielder Stephen Larkins, strikeout victim in the second inning, comes up in a big spot.
And Van Hill just barely over. Whoa.
Wow. Command really getting away from Van Hill as he hits Larkins on the helmet, and that loads the bases with 2 outs.
Connor Burris is kind of getting warmed up a little bit more quickly over there in the bullpen. Talking to Coach Young as well as Coach Hosey. Main 2 guys they're going to see possibly here tonight are going to be Jack Zwelich as well as Connor Burris out of the bullpen. Very unlikely could see Aiden Erbon. They're trying to save him for tomorrow. And definitely will not see Cole Warner. Not going to see a back-to-back game to where we're going to see a guy after going 80-plus pitches come back the next day to throw. Talking to Warner, asked him about it. Would he do it again? He said, heck no, I am not even thinking about that today.
We saw Eggert do it after throwing, 92 pitches? He pitched a complete game just last night in the 8 o'clock game and then came out of the bullpen for the Bombers in that 15-14 semifinal earlier today. Strike 1 in there to Sid DeMayo. You never know what you're going to get. Games go out of hand like that. This one, at least for now, appears to be more under control, but DeMayo is the tying run here down by 4. And he takes a pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. DeMayo doubled and scored a run in the second.
I honestly think DeMayo is probably one of the most underrated hitters in this entire league. He leads the team in OPS. He has a really good ability to put the ball the opposite way, really hit to all fields. He's got some pop coming out of UNO.
Yeah, it is off the plate. 2 balls and a strike.
And we mentioned the situations where Van Hill gets behind and counts are the time that sometimes he gets into raucous positions. Bases loaded. It's a really good hitter. You got to find a way to get ahead. Got to find a strike right now. Cannot go behind 3-1.
And there is a strike on the outside corner. DeMayo doesn't agree with it. A little smile back at the ump.
I'll take it if I'm Van Hill easily. We saw, especially in that first game, the outer part of the plate was given up a little bit. Seen a little bit here today, but that was kind of really the only 2 or 3 calls you've seen on the outer half.
Takes again. Van Hill really trying to work him down and away. DeMayo has laid off every time. It's just a matter of whether or not it's on the corner. And now with the count full, all 3 base runners will be moving. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And the payoff pitch fouled straight back into the screen.
I think DeMayo's possibly thinking about trying to put something the other way. You mentioned how much Van Hill has been trying to go out and away. I think DeMayo's kind of understanding that, maybe going to switch up his barrel path through the zone, maybe try to put something right over the second baseman in Brem.
Still 3-2. Crane at third, Sipe at second, Larkins at first. The pitch hit on the ground left side, base hit left field. That will score 2. The throw comes into third, and it's late. Larkins taking the extra bag as he was moving on the play, and it's a 6-4 ball game on DeMayo's 2-run single.
We thought punches were thrown in our first game. Punches are being thrown once again. This is postseason baseball. No team is out of it until the final out is recorded, and the Black Sox showing it here. After a struggling start from Aaron Madden, the offense has picked it back up a little bit, making this one a little bit more interesting. 2 runners on here and a chance to tie this one back up if Manny Wells can find a barrel to the outfield.
DeMayo not in the lineup on Thursday, but he is making his presence felt tonight with 2 base hits and 2 RBI as the first pitch to Manny Wells is low ball 1. Wells picked up an infield. Offensive explosions in the semifinals after pitching was so dominant in the quarters.
Game 1 of the postseason, maybe a little bit of a drop off here, but Hill here, I think, even Cole Warner yesterday, you could even say he was either the number 2 guy outside of Aiden Erbom. So again, sometimes some switch ups, some guys not quite performing the way they've been.
Van Hill getting into a lot of long counts here in the 3rd inning. It's probably just a matter of time until we see the Haymakers go to that bullpen, and Connor Burris, who's had plenty of time to get warm, tied up in knots on the pitch, down and in the dirt, and the throw to first completes the strikeout, but the Black Sox get 2 runs. Top of the 4th, and I know we hear a lot all the time in Major League Baseball about the foreign substance. Exactly what we got going here as Hosey's dog is getting into it.
Sir, Bald Dog's the same way. He was doing pretty good until we put him on away from the porta potty out there. I think
Caps 1 foul, 1-1 the count. 10-1-2 hitters here for the Haymakers.
We're doing banana ball again. The dog catches a ball, it's 2 outs.
That's on the fly, deep right field, but it hangs up there for Spencer Crane. 1 out.
Yeah, that'd probably be dangerous.
Just
probably
a little
wouldn't be
bit.
smart, yeah.
So now it's the leadoff man, David Swanson, right fielder.
Number 38, David Swanson.
Dog's got a great view of Connor Burris, who's still getting up in that Haymaker bullpen. We'll see if he potentially comes out for the 4th, or if they stick with Caden Van Hill, who has allowed 4 runs through 3. As the first pitch to Swanson is low, ball 1.
And I mentioned this past inning, 60 pitches, just 33 strikes in those 3 innings of work. So I think if you do go Van Hill, you can be a little more comfortable with the lead. But if you do go with them, a very short leash.
Yeah, that ball will be eaten up by the shortstop Peyton Blinn, as that's an infield hit. David Swanson's on for the first time today with 1 out in the 4th.
And maybe a little bit of relief right there. Didn't quite get all of that one, but he'll take it, shaking his head a little bit after really seeming frustrated this last at-bat after that pop out to the catcher. A little give me to help him out a little bit.
Now 1 on 1 out, Trenton Brem, who's 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. Swanson has that great speed over at first with 7 stolen bags on the year. Krebs immediately thinking about him. And wow, that one way out in front of the plate. The catcher DeMayo has no clue where it is, and that will allow Swanson to reach 3rd and maybe more. The throw goes down the line, but he's going to stay put. Boy, that ball on the pitch ended up bouncing so far in front of the plate. DeMayo absolutely couldn't pick it up at all where it bounced to, and that gets Swanson to third with still just one out.
Yeah, we've got to give a little bit of a shout to Darius Hagan down that left field line, making sure that he backed up that ball that got away from Manny Wells. Sid DeMayo, honestly, that's the one that you got to put in your pocket, right? Don't want to give up 2 bases to make it 3 on an extra to throw. Again, a good job by Hagan, understanding the situation, making sure he goes on his horse. Keep that ball, it's in range to keep away from Swanson trying to steal home.
2 balls, no strikes on Brem. With a sudden RBI opportunity, Swanson 90 feet away. There's another pitch down and away. 3 balls and no strikes. And the middle of the order has causing some serious trouble for the Black Sox, mostly Madden, but possibly carrying over to Krebs. Each of the 2 through 6 hitters have scored a run today, with Trout, the cleanup man, scoring twice, as it's now 3-1.
A spot here to add on some more. Again, in games like this, each and every single opportunity is going to matter. Sometimes you can get away with it in regular season games when there's not as much pressure, but sometimes, especially with a damaging setup, the acknowledgement that what this game and a loss could mean, a little more pressure to add each and every run you can get.
3 balls, 2 strikes. 1 away in the inning. Swanson over at third, and Brem rips that one. It's a foul ball. That was an absolute rocket. Wells laid out for it, but it was way out of his reach, and it remains a full count. You got to be impressed with that swing from Brem, though, on 3-2.
Again, both Madden as well as Krebs. Leaving balls too much over the plate. You talk about a lot of guys sometimes will have only so many mistakes per AB. Krebs and Madden have been giving really 2 or 3 per at-bat so far.
Oh, what a swing on a pitch up, and it looked like maybe out of the zone. Brem drops it into right center field and brings home Swanson with an RBI single to make it 7-4 Haymakers here in the 4th.
Yeah, if that wasn't out of the zone, it was at the absolute very top of the zone. Talking about throwing your hands up to a ball right there from Trenton Brem. And a guy who somewhat struggled coming into the day is now 2 for 3 with 2 singles. And brings in an RBI right there, adds on to the lead, and maybe makes it a little bit more comfortable for the pitching staff and Caden Van Hill and maybe whoever else comes after him.
Ball 1 up and into Dane Small, the left fielder, 1 for 2 with a single, fly out, and run scored. He came around to score the first run of the game in that 2-run first inning. And he barrels one left field, and that is down for a hit. Hagan has to play it on a bounce. And yet again, the Haymakers stringing together singles in the middle of their order. They have 2 on with 1 out now.
I think I mentioned coming before this game about Brandon Krebs. I couldn't always understand his numbers of how successful he's been able to be living so dangerously. But a guy that sometimes doesn't have incredible first pitch numbers, doesn't have incredible strike numbers, and the weak contact quite hasn't been there, but he's just figured a way to have very little hits, have very little earned runs, and specifically has really done a good job just limiting the walks. But that's the problem sometimes. When you play with fire, sometimes you're going to get burnt. And the Haymakers have kind of been doing it up against them real so far, finding a lot of barrels. The good thing so far is that's only really been station to station, not too many extra base hits.
Dane Small with his 3rd multi-hit game of the year, and now a 1-1 count to Jackson Trout, who picked up his 3rd multi-hit game of the season. Rylan Wallingford is up in the Black Sox bullpen. A long blonde hair of his, you can recognize it from a mile away. 1-1 the count. As Krebs looks back to second base, Brem is over there, Small at first. Both with pretty good speed. 12 stolen bags combined between the 2 of them. 1-1 pitch on the outside corner, and a throw down to first. Clanks off the glove of the first baseman Young, and that will move Brem over to third base as they're now on the corners with 1 out, and that's twice today we've seen, 1 in each game. An aggressive move to try and pick off the runner at first base. Gives up an extra base or 2.
Honestly, it wasn't a bad idea by Sid DeMayo. Small, who had to kind of stumble his way back to first, was caught sleeping over there at first base, but I don't think Young fully understood that that was the setup play. And both of them kind of got to first base at the exact same time and couldn't quite fully get a glove out there. And honestly, might even hit off the right shoulder of Small.
And that is in the dirt ball, too, and it turns into a stolen base for Dane Small. Team leading 9th of the year, and now 2 in scoring position for Trout, who has already singled twice this evening. 10 hits in the game for the Haymakers, and it's only the 4th.
And a real big chance here to blow it open if Trout can put it in the outfield. Possibly try to put it the other way.
Back up the middle, over the bag at second and into center field. That scores 1. It could score 2, and the throw is offline. Small comes in, and Trout will be thrown out at second base, but it's a 2-run single, his 3rd single of the game, and it's 9-4 Haymakers in the 4th.
I think the biggest question mark coming into this postseason tournament was if the Haymakers offense could find a way to match up with their pitching staff, and they've been able to do so far here today. Man, what a piece this has been for the Haymakers. The hottest team in this league continues to show how good they can be in big moments.
And first pitch swinging, Doty grounds it to first with the bases empty, and he will make the 3rd out. But the Haymakers offense is on a tear to open up this game. 2 in the 1st, 4 in the 3rd, and 3 in the 4th. They lead by 5 runs as we head to the bottom of the 4th on the Corn Belt League Network. Bottom of the 4th inning, Rylan Wallingford are up against it here, having a rough night, trailing by 5 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Haymakers offense just tearing into both Aaron Madden and Brandon Krebs.
And after that big 3-run inning just before this for the Haymakers, that really sets up to allow Caden Van Hill to go a little bit longer. Again, kind of a struggling day for him. Already 5 free passes in between the 2 walks and 3 hit by pitches. But still done good enough with the offensive explosion that they've had on the other end to keep himself out there.
And an appeal down to first. I don't know if the first base umpire didn't see the appeal, but no swing from Peyton Blinn, top of the order for the Black Sox in this 4th inning, working against Caden Van Hill. And he hits this one in the air, left center field. Some good carry, but the wind has weakened out there, and a backpedaling catch made by Small, just shy of the warning track.
I like the way Van Hill's been coming back and attacking. We saw that this past inning. Did a really good job to attack up against Caden Young. He just kind of beat him a little bit on the drive out to right center field, but right there got a little bit of a miss on Peyton Blinn, got under it a little bit. It kept carrying a little more than I thought it would. It really, off the bat, it kind of seemed, honestly, maybe like a shallow fly ball out there to left, but Small, good job being able to track it and make the play.
Already saw one opposite field home run to that same area in left field. Nico Saul of the Bombers in that first semifinal. Darius Hagan takes ball 1. And now 2-0. Just a very strange game Not only the first semifinal, but this one as well. Normally when you think about a team scoring in each of the first 3 innings, you're saying, all right, they're probably out in front. Maybe a healthy lead early on, but trailing by 5 here, the Black Sox. They scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, but they've just been outdone.
Again, for a team that came in hitting just about 253 as a team, just come alive in a big way. 11 hits and 4 innings. You don't see that often.
2 balls and 2 strikes on the left fielder, Darius Agan. And Van Hill misses low, full count. The Haymakers have been very hot at the plate lately. If you look past the 1-0 playoff win over the Royal Blue Dogs yesterday, they had a .360 batting average and a .942 OPS in their final 4 regular season games. That included 2 double-digit run performances, but Hagan is going to head back to the dugout as he takes a strikeout looking. And for Caden Van Hill, that's number 4, a strikeout in all 4 innings.
Van Hill has found that off speed once again. That curveball and that slider mix back-to-back right after each other. We got Hagan really, honestly, looking pretty bad swinging to those 2 pitches. It's odd to say sometimes guys can get even better as the game gone on, but it seems like Van Hill might be trying to do that here.
Strike 1 to Caden Young, a single and a walk for him. 1 for 1 this evening. And he slices this one. A diving stop by Tanabe at short. Can he make the play? Oh, he did! What an effort by Zach Tanabe. Gold glove play at shortstop to end the 4th, and a 1-2-3 inning for Caden Van Hill. We take it to the 5th. 9-4 Haymakers.
Black Sox.
Back here in the top of the 5th inning, let's give you a second look at that diving stop by Zach Tanabe to end the 4th inning. Caden Young thought for sure he had a base hit, but just another one. Remember that play he made a couple weeks ago? It was on a Sunday afternoon, close end of the game, final out. I think a base hit up the middle would have tied him, and he laid out and made the throw to first for the final out in that one too. So he's no stranger to making those kinds of.
Before that incredible play, and he's been able to show out defensively all season long for the Haymakers, and that just one piece of his immaculate defensive performance this year.
Yep, and that was the 2-1 win background. He's in the black helmet over to the right of the red helmet. Ryan Golden, the catcher, he leads off this inning. The Haymakers offense looks to continue doing damage. A 9-4 lead through 4 as they put up 2.
What you need from a team like this if you want to be a championship team, right? You haven't beaten this Black Sox team this entire year, and you've kind of seen what he has. You've seen where he misses. You've seen where he's able to hit one. They filled it very well. They allowed the off speed to stay up in the zone. When they found that fastball over the heart of the plate, they drove.
Takes the ball out of the bullpen as he gets a 1-hopper to short. Blinn throws out the catcher Golden going down the line. 2 pitches, 1 out for Wallingford. You take a look at the ERA of 3.65. 9 walks, 15 strikeouts, and this is the 3rd time he's seen the Haymakers. 3 scoreless innings and 4 strikeouts in the 2 previous appearances against him.
Here today in his couple of plate appearances, he's really found the barrel, found the timing, really just hasn't found the timing, excuse me. A lot of times been very early, driving balls down the left field line. Emphasis in the adjustment here for Tanabe.
Just see the spin on that Wallingford off-speed pitch from here. 0-2 the count on Tanabe, and wow, look at that slide for the strikeout.
Yeah, fastball sliders what Wallingford's going to go to for the majority of the night. And you see that slide. A lot of times, there's going to be a piece, right? When you can have really, really late movement, it gets guys a little bit more off balance as hitters.
Is off. He had a big hit in the third inning, 2-run single. And that were the final. Black Sox got it back to 6-4, but Haymakers were quick to respond with 3 in the top of the fourth. 2-0 the count. 3 balls and no strikes. This is the 8 hitter in the Haymakers order, followed by Calhoun and Yorgis. He loses the DH, and with 2 outs, the Haymakers have a base runner.
Ain't nothing really to worry about if you're Wallingford right now. Same approach. You got to come back at it. Again, I think you can't really leave that in the back of your mind. You got to understand, try to go straight at him. You got a good, good setup to where you kind of find your way through. Just for the Black Sox.
Inside, ball 1 on Chris Calhoun. Haymaker center fielder batting 9th, and he takes one on the outside. Well-placed fastball for strike 1. Calhoun 1 for 2 with that double in the second and a fly out to left field in the third. Stumbling off the mound, but he gets strike 2.
I think sometimes the cut on that one really rips his arm a little bit on that slider coming out in front. Sometimes that momentum brings him all the way around, kind of doing a little twirl around the mound there.
Not a big lead for Bjorkman. Haymakers with 9 runs on 11 hits. And a strikeout for Calhoun. Wallingford hurls a scoreless 5th. Bottom of the 5th inning, Haymakers 9, Black Sox 4 as Spencer Crane leads off. And 6 hitters as the Black Sox are running out of time here.
60 pitches in those first 3 innings, just barely had 0 for a 50% strike.
Well, left center field, and it is down in the gap. Crane showing off that power.
And this is the kind of mentality you have to have down 5. A little bit more towards the line, a big left center gap. Woodcut, who's has a pretty incredible arm.
And to make another amazing play, and he does.
D1 style of defensive effort right now from Zach. Body over and make a strong throw on to first. There's not a lot of short.
So now with Crane still at second and 1 out, it's Dustin Sipe, 0 for 1.
I think the biggest reason that Van Hill's been able to kind of find himself these last couple of innings has been that off speed. He's really
Crane well out to center field. It's a long run for Calhoun, who makes the catch. Crane now 90 feet away with 2 down for Stephen Larkins.
Let's see if Larkins can do something here today. Isn't that put the bat off of his shoulders of the strikes? This game's in no way out of the picture, as we've seen some odd comebacks these past couple of nights. With just about 7 outs left to go for you.
Center fielder for the Black Sox, batting 7th. They'll be followed by DeMeo and Wells should the inning continue. And home here, I know it's at third, 2 outs, and it's not necessarily an expectation, but when you're down by 5 and just 7 outs remaining, you have to get it done here.
Come back to attack, but a fastball that I really think Larkins could have found and put it the other way. He was really thinking all red light right there.
And now 2-ball. Van Hill on the attack.
It's right there. It's a beautiful slider 2-2. Just barely got below the zone. Couldn't quite get Lark. I think you really got to get this out here if you're Caden Van Hill. Right after this, Sid DeMayo is already 2 for 2 with a double and a single. Got to find a way to get Lark.
Don't get the outs. Trenton Brem had to field the baseball, and RBI single for Stephen Larkins as Crane comes in 9-5.
Well, good thing it's the last couple of games of the season. Don't have opportunity. Actually, playing with Caden Van Hill, actually this past summer, that was a full outside around there, and we had an instance to where we had gone 3 games.
Back to first. Boy, Yorgis has some great hands at first. Again, he pulls one out of the dirt, this time on the throw from Golden, his catcher.
Ted was entirely away from that ball as he found it in his glove.
1-1 the count on the catcher, Sid DeMayo. And a slider dots the out in the third. He's also scored a run. Trying to lead this Black Sox offense back into it, and he gets under one, high in the air, left center field, but it'll stay up there for the out. Small makes the catch. Black Sox trying to chip away as they pick up a... Top of the 6th inning, Haymakers 9, Black Sox 5 as Rylan Wallingford stays in the game after working a scoreless 5th inning. And a pinch hitter, Tyler Merkel.
A great piece of relief work in this past inning, the 5th, 2 strikeout, just the 1 walk and a ground out. But here up against Merkel, I think you got to try to step up the ladder a little bit, get Merkel to get under it. A team high 52.2% fly ball percentage as Merkel has this season.
And I think he's a fastball in there, 1 ball, 1 strike. We've been seeing Wallingford use that 2-pitch mix, the fastball and the slider. For up.
That's the kind of cons that you see with that biting of a slider that Wallingford has. A lot of times when you don't locate very...
Hate to let the pinch hitter take a walk, especially leading off the inning, and the top middle part of the order that is off to our left. Heads up, everybody, and it bounces down on the concrete, 3-2.
A couple of those been kind of worrisome here today. Fans trying to make sure that they can kind of dodge out of some of those balls that are coming straight down.
Full count on Merkel, and that is way upstairs. So we did try to work him up above the zone, but weren't competitive pitches, and the leadoff man is aboard for David Swanson.
And a little bit of speed in Merkel over there at first base. Does have 2 stolen bases in 3 attempts this year. But again, hasn't gotten on too often with a 156 average, so we'll see how aggressive they want to stay with Merkel here. And any kind of pieces of insurance, especially in a game like this, can help. We'll see if the top of the order now and David Swanson get back to his normal ways. They have that single in the 4th, but looked odd, I think, in those first 2 plate appearances.
So here's David Swanson, 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored in the 4th inning. And you look at the guys behind him, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Brem, Small, and Trout combined 7 for 9 with 6 runs scored. And they've driven in 3. another quick pickoff move over. Merkel back safely. Still a 1-0 count on Swanson, the right fielder. Center fielder Larkins shading him over toward left center field as there's another high fastball that misses up. 2-0 the count. Wallingford has struck out 2 and walked 2 in his 1 inning of work thus far. 2-0 pitch hit high in the air. Center field, Larkins makes his way in and hangs on to it for out number 1.
Kind of an on play right there. Larkins coming on, didn't seem too confident coming in on it, but able to make the play nonetheless. And Wallingford again kind of coming into this one, outside of the 2 walks, has been pretty consistent. Not the way he's been working so far. Again, the biggest piece here for the Black Sox, you just got to keep it at this deficit. Cannot allow any more insurance runs here for the Haymakers. Got to allow your offense at least some kind of wiggle room these next 2 innings to come back.
Strike 1 to Trenton Brem, who's having a big day, 2 for 3 with a couple singles, and his 4th inning single brought in a run. He's also scored a pair of runs. 9 runs on 11 hits for this Haymaker offense. And he chops 1 to third, could be 2. They have the out at second, and the throw to first gets away. It was a low throw and Young couldn't pull it out. And that advances Brem to second base, but the out recorded at second. So a fielder's choice and an advance on the error.
Honestly, you can just call that a basic ground out to an extent. Just does the same thing.
Now batting, the left fielder.
Really good flip over there at second by sight, but kind of an odd throw. Kind of try to get it out of the hand too quickly. And that's sometimes that a lot of second basemen can do. You're overly trying to get out of the hand. Don't quite get that good grip, that four-seam grip you really want as a defensive player. Maybe palm that ball a little bit.
I know Dane Small, who is 2 for 3 with a couple singles and 2 runs scored. Wallingford fires a fastball, pinpointed on the outside, strike 1. Brem, the runner at second. Haymakers on the hunt for a 10th run. Already seen a pair of 10-plus run performances. If you missed it earlier, a 15-14 semifinal win for the Filth Ballers over the Bombers in 11 innings to advance to the championship game on a walk-off single by Anthony Pohl. And now Wallingford fires high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If you're a Corn Belt League baseball fan, I mean, hey, I want to be in a situation to see that type of game tomorrow. The intensity in that back-and-forth matchup in our 2 p.m. game today, which really could have been, honestly, a 3 or 4 p.m. game with how long that game went, a 3.5-hour-long ball game. If we can get a game like that tomorrow, I would not complain.
2-1 the count. With tomorrow being the night game, thankfully the sun won't be in play anymore, because big part of the reason that game was so wild because there were a couple drops in right field with bases loaded, or at least a couple guys on base, losing the baseball in that sun as this is pulled high in the air, but foul. Watch out over there. Over by the family with the dog. Yeah, the dog's going to get a souvenir. How about that? You see him down in the corner of the screen going crazy about that ball. They just ran past it, though, and its owner will pick it up.
And I don't think quite a fetch-sinking ball like the one that Hosey has. I think Hosey's dog is so used to baseballs going around the house every single day, with that entire family being baseball-oriented in every single way. Different kind of lifestyle.
2 balls and 2 strikes. One of my favorite things about the Corn Belt League, coaches and their dogs. We've seen it with Coach Guido of the Royal Blue Dogs, bringing Max to pretty much every game. Always cool to see him out here. 3-2 the count as Dane Small works in his 4th at bat. Rylan Wallingford trying to preserve the 4-run deficit. Black Sox are down to their final 6 outs and can't afford to widen the gap any further.
Yeah, right now, if you're Wallingford, you got to find a way out of this inning after a 13 pitch first inning, already 16, now 17 pitches here in his second inning of relief.
And the inning will continue, and they've extended it to the wrong guy on Small's walk. Jackson Trout is swinging a hot bat, 3 for 3 this evening with a trio of singles, and his most recent base hit in the 4th inning brought in 2 runs, and he's also scored twice. Making a bid to be our Kelly Supply Company player of the game, and still only the 6th inning. See what he can do with 2 on, 2 out, with the lead already at 4. And he takes one at the top of the zone. Strike 1 from Wallingford.
And Trout, just like Crane, a guy that really tall stature, kind of a long swing coming through, but he's figured a way to find the barrel a lot. A lot of times with those longer swings, you have a little bit more time to set yourself through the zone. You got to still have it quickly, but it's been able to keep the ball and the bat, through the zone pretty well. 18 hard hit balls coming into this game. You can easily say maybe add that, make it 21 with those 3 singles here today.
1 ball, 1 strike. Trout's former teammate at Papio South, Jackson Horn, picked up 3 hits today in the first semifinal with the Philp Ballers. The Titans are having a productive evening as this is lifted back over our heads. Foul ball, 1 and 2.
Yeah, really only one Titan that's kind of struggled tonight, Aaron Madden, another Papio South grad. Kind of interesting to see all the local guys that come back here to the Corn Belt League each summer.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Wallingford needs to execute a pitch here against a guy that is raked against the Black Sox tonight. Long look back at second base, and now he'll step off, concerned about Trenton Brem. Middle infielders, Blinn and Sipe, are not holding him too close back there. Now ready with the 1-2. Here it comes. And it's hit high in the air. Should stay in play. Posey gets out of the way, and it's caught by Manny Wells in foul territory. So Wallingford strands 2 and keeps the deficit at 9-5. Black Sox trying to get some work done at the plate when we come back in the bottom of the 6th. Look at the line score at the board here at JJ Isaacson Field. 9-5 lead for the Haymakers. 2 in the first, 4 in the third, 3 in the fourth. And the offense has done the job, and so has Caden Van Hill. He's back for a 6th inning, and he gets a fly ball to left field and a 1-pitch out to the leadoff man, Manny Wells, at the bottom of the order.
And been able to retire. And a lot of guys missing underneath a little bit. And now just 5 outs away from the Haymakers to move on for the championship game. Philp Ballers and Haymakers. And just right now
on Peyton Blinn, and you can make that 2-0. Blinn is 0 for 2 with an RBI sac fly back in the 2nd inning. And keep the bullpen well rested after Cole Warner through the complete game yesterday for this rotation.
You saw Jack Swalich and Connor Burris at least available in the bullpen, warming up a little bit, but I think the most available tomorrow and rest. That's the biggest point, right? And they might be available.
Little grin. That's twice he's reached down to his shin guard thinking it was ball 4, but now 3 and Dan Hill is allowed to go into this one, getting close to 100 pitches.
See how long they'll go with Van Hill, like you said. I'm not sure at second and third. This is a piece right.
So 2 outs as he pops out to first base. Blinn 2, a walk in the first, a single in the third, a ground out in the fourth. One-0 pitch to Young. He is in the dirt and blocked by Ryan Golden, who's done an excellent job behind the plate, keeping pitches in front of it. The guys haven't had the best command today, but they're doing the best they can with it. And there's a strike, 2-1 now on Young. Jaden Young has some extra base power in that bat, but he takes that one inside, 3-1, and Van Hill yet again falling behind in a count. We'll see if he can work his way back and get out number 3 here.
I think here in the 6th, no matter what, this is going to be his inning. He's got to be able to finish to move it on to the 7th.
And that is ball 4, another walk. Jaden Young takes his base, and now 2 on, 2 out. And it's going to be Spencer Crane in a big spot, trying to keep the rally going for the Black Sox.
Crane has the ability to take one out. Not as much wind, really almost no wind here in our later matchup after the wind was really carrying out towards left field in our first game, but Crane does have the ability to take it out of here. One big swing could change this game in a big way if Crane can get a hold of one.
And strike 1 on the outside. Spencer Crane hit by pitch, a fielder's choice, a double, and a couple runs scored. Oh, 1 pitch. Well outside, a ball and a strike. Runner at second, Peyton Blinn. Caden Young over at first. And Caden Van Hill now up over 100 pitches, emptying the tank here in what should be his final outing of the year, and he hits Spencer Crane. The bases are loaded. Crane making 100% sure that it did hit him, and it did. And the tying run will come to the plate in Rusty Wortman with the bases juiced and 2 out.
Definitely. The vibe I feel really in this one was not a situation where the Black Sox were going to be able to do it and come back in this one, but a chance here with bases loaded and 2 outs. Big 2-out opportunity for the middle of this order, specifically Rusty Wortman. See if Dustin Sipe can either do anything behind him as well. You don't need one big swing here for the Black Sox. You still have an inning and a third to work with, but got to get at least something here to put Van Hill a little bit on his heels.
Yeah, it's strike 2. Wortman is 0 for 3. He has driven in a run. It was back in the first inning. Black Sox scored in each of the first 3 frames, and they've scored in 4 of the 5, but still trail by 4. As the 0-2 from Van Hill. Cut on and missed. He struck him out. Van Hill makes it through 6th. He leaves the bases loaded. And to the 7th we go. 9-5 Haymakers on this Saturday night on the Corn Belt League Network. We'll stay with you here as we back here in the top of the 7th inning. Tyler Reidy and Jaden Taylor with you here, and you wonder why you're wearing these jerseys here. Well, it's because this is what Corn Belt League representatives will be repping when they go to Wichita next week. The travel squad playing in a tournament against some other Summer League All-Star teams down there in southern Kansas, and some members of the Black Sox and Haymakers in that one. For the Sox, Aaron Madden, Peyton Blinn. We'll see Spencer Crane there as well, and for the Haymakers, Aiden Urbaum. Black Sox also sending their head coach Sonny Sunigal down there as well. Should be fun coming up next week.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of an all-star team put together for the guys that are still available, not going back to their colleges right away for the Corn Belt League. Going to be a lot of fun, kind of a 3 to 4 day style of thing. A game on Wednesday, 2 games on Thursday, then it's single elimination from then on out. Going to be a lot of fun, and possibly we might have some coverage down there this next week down in Wichita and some other areas in Kansas.
Yeah, you see some of the names, some of the stars in this Corn Belt League. Brendan Anderson from the Filth Ballers, Adam Eggert from the Bombers, Danny Sponberg as well.
10 guys from the Filth Ballers. 10 guys from the Filth Ballers.
And their head coach, Johnston Hobbs, will be the man who leads them as head coach of the travel squad, as there's strike one in the top of the 7th inning. As Rylan Wallingford, who's done a heck of a job keeping the Black Sox in the game, preserving this 9-5 deficit with the scoreless 5th and the scoreless 6th. It's just a matter of the offense helping them out and getting back in it, but they're down to their final 3 outs as Jackson Doty faces a 1-1 count. And that one well outside, 2-1. Doty, Golden, and Tanabe due up. Jackson Doty has driven in 2.
Yeah, I think this is actually a change. This is going to be Cade Reidy.
Oh, yep, you're exactly right. Golden will be pinch hit for. Already saw Urbaum pinch run for him as it's 3-1.
That's going to be Reidy, then Filer. We'll see past that, but a lot of changes here with the 4-run lead here. And again, Wallingford, it's kind of been all or nothing. A walk there, been able to find 2 strikeouts. Kind of a different piece here in this 3rd inning of relief.
So it will be Connor Filer out of Nebraska Wesleyan University to pinch hit. He replaces Ryan Golden, who went 0 for 2 with a couple ground outs and an RBI hit by pitch back in the 3rd inning. And Filer goes after the first pitch and hits it hard past Dwayne Hosey, foul ball. And you see the Black Sox sending Colby Mon out to that bullpen just in case Wallingford has some further troubles in the 7th. This very well could be the final inning of the year for the Sox. The offense needs to get things going in a hurry. This time is far from on their side. 1-1 the count here on Filer.
And not exactly the spot that they want to have. Going to be 6, 7, and 8. Dustin Sipes, Stephen Larkins, and Sid DeMeo, at least at the moment. Larkins and DeMeo with a decent day. Larkins able to have that single last time back up in the infield. But DeMeo, I think, is going to be the biggest guy to possibly put some kind of pop into a ball. It'll be a long comeback for the Black Sox, but still a possibility. Anything can happen with postseason play. We've seen some odd innings here today just in its own, so definitely not going to scare us at all with a different day we've kind of had.
1-2 from Wallingford is up, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Whoever comes out on top here will face the Filth Ballers in tomorrow night's championship game. Filth Ballers trying to make it 3 titles in a row after they defeated the Bombers 15-14 in 11 innings to get there. And this afternoon semifinal and a strikeout of Connor Filer, so the pinch hit opportunity does not pan out, and now Zach Tanabe will step in after he hears from Filer about what he saw. Tanabe 0 for 2 with a ground out, RBI walk, and a strikeout. But the calling card for him today has been the defense. A couple outstanding plays with the glove and the arm out there at shortstop.
It's odd to see. I think one thing that I was thinking about middle of the year, we saw Tanabe, after making a couple of good plays defensively, ended up coming in the later part of the game. This was probably mid-June, and came in and closed the game in 2 innings of closing work. He's just shown off that arm, even on the mound. And I think we talked to him after that one. His arm was really sore, but hasn't had an opportunity since. I was kind of wondering, like, I've never used him as a closing spot, never had him as another opportunity in there, but I guess it's kind of more of a one outing type of guy for the year.
Yeah, that one popped up into the Haymakers dugout. Awkward situation over there. But, yeah, going back to what you're saying, it's June 13th, walk-off win, 4-3 over the Royal Blue Dogs in 8 innings, and Tanabe came in with the game tied in the 7th inning. threw a scoreless frame, and then with the game tied in the top of the 8th inning and the initial placement runner at second, he threw a scoreless frame to set up the walk-off in the bottom half, and now he's got a base hit to left field. So now he gets things going with the bat. 2 on, 1 out for Carter Bjorkman, but Rylan Wallingford has gotten out of trouble in the 6th inning. He had bases loaded in that spot, but got out of it without any damage done in that top of the 6th inning, and now he faces another challenge with the bottom third of the order coming up.
And a couple guys that have come through in some big spots. I mentioned the depth of this team. How could the bottom half of this order come through? And haven't been incredibly successful, but still had some pretty good plate appearances so far. Tanabe with the walk, and then right there the single. Borkman here with the single in the third also does have a walk. Then Chris Calhoun with that double in the second. These are the types of things you need if you want to find a way to be a championship team, and things like that can't happen on the other.
Yep, another wild back pick throw to first from DeMeo as it flicked off the glove of Caden Young. Both runners move up, the double play out of order, and now 2 in scoring position, Doty and Tanabe with 1 out and a 2-0 count on Borkman. 2-0 pitch is outside. First base is open, and you have Chris Calhoun on deck. Center fielder's 1 for 3 with a double. Colby Mon still getting ready to go out there in the bullpen. As Wallingford brings home the 3-0, and it is on the outside. 4-3-1 count. Haymakers got off to a hot start with 2 in the first inning, but then the Black Sox tied it up with 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Haymakers with 4 in the third, and they never looked back, adding 3 more in the fourth, eventually getting to a 9-5 lead. As this is popped up, will it get over the fence? No, and the catch is made by DeMeo. That's an excellent play going back toward the screen, and he hauls it in for out number 2 in foul territory.
DeMeo's had some pretty good plays defensively behind home plate. And that's a big reason Madden's liked him back there, not just for his bat, but how well he's been working with them. Right there, able to have a pretty good opportunity to get around and make a good play out in foul territory.
2 outs and 2 in scoring position in the top of the 7th. Haymakers 9, Black Sox. Black 18 2/3 innings pitched for him and a 4.36 ERA. And this is the second time he's faced the Haymakers. Pitched a scoreless frame against them. The 19 pitches on the 9-hitter, but 2 runners are in scoring position with 2 down. You want to make sure you can secure this scoreless 7th. And it is 1-1 now on Calhoun.
And I think they really wanted to, and that same thing for the Black Sox this year. Just 2 starts, but 11 earned runs. Let's have the 4.36 ERA, but sometimes see how he can figure a way to get the Black Sox out of this inning.
And they will not get out of it unscathed. There's a base hit to left. It scores 1. A long throw from Hagan is going to get the out. Tanabe is cut down at the plate. That was a rocket from left field to home, but a run does score before it. So 10-5 Haymakers, and we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Black Sox are down to their final 3 outs, trailing by 5 on the Corn Belt League Network. Lights are on. Baseball under a beautiful twilight sky in Omaha, Nebraska in the postseason, end of July. Beautiful time of year, and the Haymakers are 3 outs away from bunching their ticket to the championship game for a date with the Filth Ballers. They lead 10-5 in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Caden Van Hill is looking to go the distance, and he's off to a good start, getting Dustin Sipe to ground out to third for out number 1. Play made by Jackson Trout.
Unless he gets a 1-2-3 inning here in 3 pitches, it'd be the longest outing of the year for Caden Van Hill. And still, honestly, probably not the best outing for him all season if you talk to him after this one. Kind of struggling those first 3 innings, but with the offensive showcase that the Haymakers were able to bring out into this one, Van Hill did a really good job adjusting in those later innings. Found a way to keep this one in the lead, and really not too interesting, at least thus far, as the Black Sox have really struggled to find any kind of offense, specifically up against that pitch right there, that curveball. They've really struggled against hitting the off-speed that Van Hill's been throwing to him.
Ball one on Steven Larkins on a pitch that was very close, and then he absolutely spikes one down and away. 2-0 the count. Larkins 1 for 2 with an RBI single in the 5th. Strikeout and hit by pitch as well. Hasn't really been a particular part of the Black Sox order that's done a lot of damage, although Larkins will have a base hit to left field as he hit it right on the lip between the back of the infield dirt and the front of the outfield grass, and the ball just took off, and it's a single to left field with 1 out here in the 7th.
Yeah, Hosey's going to come talk out to Caden Van Hill here. Unless this one gets way blown out of the picture to where it gets really interesting, I think they'll stay with Van Hill the majority of the way in this one. But again, got to understand, right, it's a developmental league. Got to make sure the kid is not hurting his arms. I think Hosey probably just going out there making sure that Van Hill feels all right. The velocity's definitely been down these last couple of innings. It just makes sense because of fatigue. But yeah, it looks like he's just want to stay in there, finish this game off. Still a double play in order, so Van Hill will try to find the zone, find a way to get some weak contact and get out of this.
Fist bumps all over the infield for the Haymakers. Trout, Tanabe, Brem, Yorgis, and Golden all in on the meeting with Hosey and Van Hill. 2 out stand between them, and championship game appearance. Trying to pull off the only upset, if you can call it one, of this postseason, as this is lifted a mile high toward the third base side. Trout makes the catch, drifting back into fair territory, and there are 2 away as Sid DeMeo pops out.
We've seen a lot of those here today. Some plays that little pop-ups. Yeah, Trout laughing at himself a little bit, almost dropped that one. A big second out here. And the Haymakers set up to win 7 straight and head themselves on the championship game just a year removed after being the 7th seed, being the worst seed in the league last year going into the playoffs. Have a chance now to flip it all the way around and head themselves to the championship game tomorrow evening.
Strike 1 to Manny Wells, the third baseman. He's the last chance for the Black Sox. 1 for 3 on the evening. Yeah, that one in the dirt. Blocked well by Golden, a ball and a strike. Every single game, all 4 quarterfinals and the 1 semifinal have been chalk on the bracket with the higher seed winning. However, the Haymakers are the 3, the Black Sox are the 2. There's the 1-1 is on the ground. Back to Van Hill, and it's fitting that he's the one that ends it. Complete game, 7 innings for Caden Van Hill, and he sends the Haymakers on to the championship, where they will meet the Filth Ballers tomorrow night.
This is the hottest team. I've said it once, I'll say it again. After a really struggling piece midway through July, really want to talk to Coach Hosey in this group to see what really changed. But I think it's really been the offense. The offense has found its consistency these past couple of games. Now a 7-game winning streak. And this group is headed on to the CBL championship to find a way. Can they take down the Filth Ballers? Can they end the dynasty that they've been putting on the last couple of years? We'll find out tomorrow night.
Van Hill goes through the Black Sox order 4 times and gives up 5 runs, but the offense was the story tonight on top of his performance. 10-run, 13-hit outburst for the Haymakers, and we congratulate the Black Sox on an impressive season going 17-11, finishing with the second-best record at the end of the regular season. Sonny Sungold did a heck of a job with that ball club throughout the year, but they just didn't quite have enough to keep up with that high-powered Haymaker offense in this one. So we'll be back in a moment with our Kelly Supply Company players of the game, Jackson Trout and Caden Van Hill, and then after that to recap the postseason and get you all set up for tomorrow evening here on the Corn Belt League Network.
No matter what your age, skill level, or position, your baseball season begins at the Strike Zone. Featuring state-of-the-art batting cages, group and private instruction, the Strike Zone provides athletes all the training and equipment you need to get your game to the next level. Give the gift of development to your baseball or softball player. Purchase your Strike Zone gift cards today. Baseball never ends at the Strike Zone.
welcome back to wrap this one up here at JJ Isaacson Field. We have our two teams in the championship game tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The Haymakers Explosion with our Kelly Supply Company players of the game, Caden Van Hill and Jackson Trout. Jackson, I'll start with you with the offensive piece.
And just really put an emphasis on contact, just getting the bat on ball, not really worrying about trying to hit over the fence, because it's a lot tougher to do that with the wood bat. So just putting bat on ball, trying to find the holes.
I think bat on the balls. What was your approach today?
Well, I left that up with runners in scoring position a lot, so I was just trying to 2 outs a lot, so just keep the line moving, just get bat on ball, knowing that, just being confident in my approach and knowing that I'm a good hitter.
So coming into this 7-game hitting streak, you guys actually had a 4-game losing streak coming into this one. What flipped?
Well, even throughout the losing streak, we knew that we weren't playing our best, so we just kept with our confidence, just kept having fun. Our coaches really emphasized having fun, and so just carried along throughout on the field for the 7-game little streak we've gone on.
All right, Caden, I'll talk to you now. Kind of labored in those first couple of innings, 60 pitches in the first 3 innings, but after that, you really found yourself, I think specifically with that curveball. Your off-speed looked really good in those later innings. What changed in that latter half of that one?
Yep, got to give credit, obviously, to the offense. A lot of times 5 runs isn't going to cut it. Today it did because of offense. Trout here helped out with that. Once we got that second big inning with that 3 spot in the 4th, I just started cruising a little bit, realized I had some space again, just like my last outing, and just decided to put the ball in the zone again. Started working well with that fastball. That curveball started dropping off the table for him.
Yeah, so this is the longest outing that you've had all season long. What was it like for you on a kind of more humid day, a little bit as of recent, for you to labor that entire way?
Yeah, a little tired, but it's worth it. We're on this trip, baby, so take it.
All right, I'm going to ask both of you guys this question first. I'll ask you, Caden, to start this one off. What does this team have to do to take home the CBL title tomorrow?
Dude, we got Urbaum on the mound. I think we're set. We got the Filth Ballers. They had a long game today. They're going to be tired. We're hitting the ball. I think we got this.
Jackson?
Yeah, same. A lot of confidence with Urbaum on the hill. I think it's important to get off to a hot start. Get runs early, don't follow behind, and just keep the pressure on all game.
All right, thank you guys both. An incredible win for the Haymakers here today. They have punched their ticket to tomorrow night at 7 p.m. We'll take a quick break here on the Corn Belt League Network. Don't go anywhere, though. We still got some post-game wrap-ups and get you guys set for tomorrow night, 7 p.m. matchup. Number 1 Filth Ballers taking on the number 3 Haymakers.
Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field, putting the finishing touches on our 42nd and final broadcast of the year here on the Corn Belt League Network. Haymakers defeat the Black Sox 10-5 and advance to the championship game, where they will meet the Filth Ballers tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. And you take a look at it, Filth Ballers, the 11-inning barn burner victory, 15-14 in the afternoon game today, and the Haymakers 10-5. And we'll turn things over to News Channel Nebraska, Brendan Axelman, Andy Klassen, and their entire crew for tomorrow night's game. But we've got a postseason and a season recap here. Tyler Reidy and Jaden Taylor one final time here. And Jaden, an exciting postseason. We saw the best of everything, defense, pitching, offense, all coming together to make for a great first 6 games.
Yeah, at times throughout the regular season, there were some games where the pitching wasn't quite there. The offense was just really slow. It was just kind of an odd setup at sometimes, but the postseason lived up to every single expectation. Every single game was close down the stretch. There was really no other game, maybe except this one right here between the Black Sox and Haymakers, that seemed out of reach at any point. It's going to be a really fun game tomorrow. 2 teams, 2 really good pitchers, C.J. Fleeman and Aiden Urbon on the mound. I think it's really going to be a pitcher's duel once again.
Yeah, so we preview that one a little bit. You can hear a full in-depth analysis of that game coming up on Around the Corn, our Corn Belt League podcast tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. live here from JJ Isaacson Field. But looking into that one, you mentioned the pitching matchup, but it's not just pitching. These 2 offenses are red hot. Filth Ballers, obviously the 15-run outburst, and the Haymakers, you mentioned Jackson Trout, the switch that's been flipped with their offense going on the big win streak. So tomorrow's game could go in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to, again, it's what comes down to a lot of big championship games, the small things, right? The margin of error is going to be back and forth so very small between those 2. Some really good pitchers. Fleeman out of the left side. Urbom's going to kind of have a little bit of a different mix. And I think it'll be interesting to see, again, how long can those 2 starters go and how can the offense maybe adjust sometimes the second time, third time through the order.
So that'll do it from here. The championship game coming up tomorrow again on News Channel Nebraska at 7 p.m. But before you tune into that one, stay here with us. One more Around the Corn podcast to go here on the Corn Belt League Network. That coming up live from JJ Isaacson Field at 2 p.m. So for Joe Siwa, Casey Siwa, our commissioners, Aaron, Connor, the PA announcers, and our whole Corn Belt League crew, Jaden Taylor, Max Coughlin, Ryan Kelly, Arnoff Pokerel, Jack McGonigal, Brendan Preisman, Mike Knockenhauer Jr., Ethan McCormick, Maddox Allen, Lewis Taylor, Alex Tejan, Taylor Lewis, and Hallie Opat. We'd like to thank you so much for spending your summer with us in 2022, and we hope you enjoyed the ride. Enjoy the off season. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Thank you all so much for tuning in this summer, everybody.